Hello and welcome to the March 22 episode of Gaga Knits. My name's Anita and this is where I share the crafty things that I have been working on during the month, and also sometimes photos at the end of places that we have been that I think might be of interest to you. This month I have got quite a lot to share. I have sewing, knitting, crochet, cross stitch, some acquisitions, sharing the love, and also some photos at the end of our stay this weekend in a very lovely little cottage in Treveglois in Powys in Wales. So let's start with knitting. I have a finished object. This is the lace cardigan by Louisa Harding, and I have had terrible trouble with this cardigan. I started it a long time ago and it was my Back to the Future project for March, so I'm glad it's finished. It was a pattern out of an old Woman's Weekly magazine, and in that it was called Cranberry Crush, and I just had problems with it because of the lace work. The instructions were, well, these are the instructions, a bit detailed, and some of the panels, they had, for example, say if the diamond pattern had 13 rows, one of the chevron might have 9 rows, and then you had to, it was just a lot of maths. I had to put it in a spreadsheet to help myself, and then I did the sleeves wrong, but it's all done now. Really pleased with it. I bought the yarn on Etsy long time ago. I will look back and see if I can find the details on that. I'm happy with it now, but I will never knit this pattern again. And you might have noticed this side I've got a lovely little brooch. Now I don't usually wear a brooch, but I will talk about that later. So that's my finished object. Very pleased with that. And I've also started a pair of socks, and I have finished the first one, and here it is. Now some of you might recognise this pattern. It's the new pattern from Angela from Knitting on the Farm, and it's called the Bridge Before Home Socks, and she has donated all the profits for this sock pattern to the Ukrainian people, to the British Red Cross. So obviously I bought the pattern to help support that, and this is meant to this little sort of ripple effect here, I think, is meant to symbolise the bridge for the bridge on the way home, or bridge before home, and you can do as many repeats as you wish of that before you get to the heel, but I just chose to do 3, and I used a 2mm needle, and it's a higher sharps. I've just started the second sock, just doing the cuff. I am using 2mm higher sharps. They are very sharp. Just started the second cuff. I am using circular needles just because these are the only 2mm I've got, and the pattern, rather than changing the stitch count, you change the needle size to get the different sizes, which I find quite useful. So this yarn was the very first indie dyed yarn I ever bought. I think it was from a lady called Sarah's Texture Crafts, but she stopped dyeing a long time ago, and I thought the colours were, well, symbolised the Ukrainian flag, although obviously not quite accurate. Just a bit of support. Can you support a country with a pair of socks? I don't know, but it's all so awful, isn't it? And I've done the first sock, very happy with that, and I am on to the second one. I've also started another knitting project, and the yarn is the Chinese yarn I had from my sister-in-law Janine, that came in this box. It's a bit hard to show. Now I think it's DK, but I don't know because the pattern is all in Chinese. But my very nice friend Lenore on Instagram, her daughter-in-law is Chinese and she's translating it for me, but I am taking it that it's DK. I've decided to do the Miette cardigan from Andi Satterlund, and it's a free pattern, but this is worsted, and I don't really like worsted cardigans on me. I find them too thick and restrictive. So I'm trying to gauge swatch with this yarn, and that was the recommended 4mm needle, and then this is 5.5. I think I've gone up quite a, oh no, it's 6mm, and it doesn't quite meet gauge, but it does if you stretch it. And when you do gauge swatches, they do say to wash and block it. I'm not really very good on gauge swatches, and I don't really want the fabric of it to get any, I don't want to do it on bigger needles. I don't think the stitches will look very nice. So I'm going to have a go at doing this, and the yarn comes in this box, in a box, and all the balls are connected. So one connects to the next one, to the next one. Let me see. So I'm wandering around with the whole box. It's a bit strange. I've never had that with yarn before. Has anyone else ever had yarn that all the balls are connected? So I haven't really started that yet because I've just done the swatching. So I have got some more knitting projects in mind, but they're in the pipeline section, so I will share those with you later. Moving on to crochet, I have been working on a baby blanket. Thank you for everyone who put comments on last month's video as to what cotton yarn to use for this baby blanket. In the end, I decided to use the Stylecraft, what have I got here? Stylecraft Special DK, and I have crocheted nearly all the squares that I need. I've been blocking them on this blocker. Here's the pattern, and I have been keeping a note of everything on my little cards. It's a bit bent and things, but they're still really useful, and that's the pattern that I've decided I'm going to do, like just diagonal lines in the different colours, and I had to work out how many squares I need to do with each colour. So I think I've got one light blue and two grey squares left to do, and then I can crochet them all together. And the pattern is by Cherry Heart Crochet, and it's called the Solid Granny Square. So I'm looking forward to finishing that. The baby's not due until July, so I've got plenty of time, and I am using a 4.5mm hook, and I got this from Woolwearcraft, and I got this from from Wool Warehouse. I got the crochet hook, and I also got another one. I had to buy several other things to make the money up to, I think it's £25 to get free postage. Can't remember the make, but I will share the make when I get to the other project. So I've been working quite a lot on this and the socks this month. Let's move on to sewing. I have finished a dress. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen this dress. Which way do I need to go? This way. This is the McCalls M7969. It's a free downloadable PDF from Minerva Crafts if you sign up to their newsletter, and you can have the option of 2 sizes. So it's just the black and white picture there. Now, I measured my bust, and I was very close to the large dress size, so you can have, when you don't download the pattern, you have to choose which pattern group you want. There's an extra small to a medium, and then there's the large to the extra large, so I chose the second option. So this was the large, but it's too big. I should have used my upper bust measurement and not my bust, so that would have brought me down one size. And then if I had read the reviews rather than just looking at the pictures, I would have known that people recommend you go down a dress size anyway, or one size, not a dress size. So therefore I have made it 2 sizes too big, which is a bit disappointing. I'll put some pictures in. They are not flattering. It does nothing for me. It's way too big, and really I need to take it all apart and downsize it. But the only problem is I have the sizing from large to extra large, and I would have to go down to the small, and I don't know if they'll give me that pattern because they've already given me the free pattern, and I don't really know how to grade it down that much on my own, so I'm going to have to come up with a solution. They'll probably, I haven't tried, but I'll see if I can get the smaller pattern, because all I need really is the bodice pieces, so that I can, the skirt is easy enough, isn't it, just to gather it up. And because I was so disappointed with the fit and all the effort I'd made, I'd overlocked all the seams and I hand stitched all the bias binding, I wanted to make something sewing wise that fits, because it's so frustrating. It's my own fault because I don't do any adjustments. I look for the size in the pattern pack, and I just sew my size without doing any adjustments. I know that's not going to work. I don't know why I do it, but I do. So I decided to start on a skirt, because I looked on a blog called Polka Dot Palace, and I'll put the link below, and she has a tutorial for a self-drafted skirt. So I've got mine here. This is just quilting cotton that I had in my stash. I haven't quite finished it. You have the option to put pockets in, and I can't find my pockets. There's one. And she shows you how to draft your own pattern pockets, but I use the Rosary Apparel, her free dress pattern pocket piece to make the pockets, and I've pretty much sewn everything. You've just got to put a channel of elastic in the back. I thought it went quite nice with this cardigan as well, so I've nearly finished that. And obviously I haven't hemmed it. I've got to hem it and put the elastic in the back, and then it's pretty much good to go. So next month I will have that to show you. And talking of sewing, I won a pattern, Sew Over 50 on Instagram was doing a giveaway because they reached over 40,000 followers, and you just had to put 3 words down to describe your style of sewing, and I won a prize. I won a pattern from Stokx Patterns, and it was the PDF only, and I chose the skater top, which is a raglan jersey top, and I have printed the pattern off and started sticking it together, so I'm hoping to do that, and because it's jersey, hopefully the fit will be a lot better. So it was nice to win a prize. Back to the future. So this month I looked back on my previous April months, because although this is my March episode, my Back to the Future project's going to be for April, and I am going to do the Crafty Things cross stitch sampler from last April that I did start, and it is a pattern that I picked up a kit from Home Bargains, and it was all the animals, and I was working on it in my lunch times in work, but it got a bit busy and I brought it back home, so I have done a fair bit. But these projects that I'm doing, the Back to the Future projects, I'm just going to work on them for that month. I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't actually finish the whole thing, because with the cross stitch it takes quite a long time. But I just reopen the project and do some work on it as much as I can, and just sort of try and concentrate a bit more time on that project. And this is the cross stitch project bag that I bought from Davina at Little Workroom Crafts. It's very pretty. Always think of Davina when I work on this. In the pipeline. So in the pipeline are projects that I may have got everything together, or patterns that I'm thinking of but I haven't started work on yet, and I might not be working on them for a little while, but they're all set and ready to go. So in order to get my free postage from Wool Warehouse, I also purchased some sock yarn. My youngest grandson Jack has asked for a pair of socks, so dropping things. I am going to make him the Easy Toddler Socks, which is a free pattern on Ravelry from Karen needlesandwool.com, and I have drawn around his foot for a template. It was a bit hard to do because the pen was tickling him and he kept moving. So we've got his foot, and this is the yarn I'm going to make him in. It's Drops Fabel, and the colour is 913 and the blue is 107. So I thought that would be nice. I've shown him, he likes it, and I'm just going to put them in this little project bag for socks. Obviously I haven't started those yet, so I might have to do a new template. We're coming into the summer, but when they go camping, a pair of socks might be quite nice for in the night time, or if not, I could make them for the autumn, and you have a nice cozy pair of socks for the winter and autumn, or autumn and winter, whichever way you want to look at it. And then the other yarn I bought was Drops Love You 9, and it's cotton, and the colourways are 119 and 118, and it's a green, nice green colours there. This one's a sort of light sagey green, and this one's a bit brighter. And I thought I would make some dishcloths, because I made some quite a while ago in just some sort of beigey cotton yarn, and I use them a lot, but I would like a nicer colour. And there's two different dishcloth patterns I could use. I think I've got them in here. One is Emily's Garden Dishcloth by the Kitchen Sink shop, and you can get her free dishcloth patterns if you sign up to her newsletter. And that's a knit dishcloth. And for a crochet option, I have got the Patterns for Crochet, which is also a free pattern. So I will try and link that, because that's all I've written. Dishcloth by Patterns for Crochet. Can't remember where that was from. So they are my in the pipeline projects. I thought this month I would do a little sharing the love. You may know this person, this lady, Lisa from Bobo Bun on Instagram, and she also does a little video on Instagram called Bobo in the Bog, where she stands in her toilet. I think it's because it's the best light in the house, and she'll show you different things that she's been sewing. She's a vintage seamstress, and she likes to make things from original vintage patterns or modern patterns with a vintage twist. And this is where I had my lovely brooch from. She used to make the brooches and bags and things like that and sell them on Etsy, but now she does sewing classes in her town, Norwich, in Norfolk, and she had some stock left from her shop, and she decided to do a fundraiser for Ukraine charities and sold everything, and all the profits went to the charity that she chose, which was the Ukraine Humanitarian Appeal Disaster Emergency Committee, because whatever money people in the UK donate to that, the government said they would match it up to I think it was 20 million. So, you know, that's obviously a good option to choose. And she has just started YouTube videos, and they are really enjoyable. And if you message her, she always messages back, and she gives you tips and tricks, and she shows you her patterns, and she can knit and sew, and it's just really interesting. I followed her. She used to do a blog, and then on Instagram, and now on YouTube. So I thought I'd give her a shout out, because I know she would love to see you over on her channel. And another video, or another podcast I should say, I've been watching, isn't craft related, but I think I'm not alone in this, but during the pandemic I ate more and exercised less, so I could do with losing some weight. I don't feel comfortable with the weight I am, so I am trying to eat a bit healthier. But also my daughter Jodie told me about this podcast, and it's called Get Fit with Rick, and he does these all different length videos, but he does some about 15 minutes long, and they are walking exercises for in your living room. So you're sort of marching, and it's sort of a bit like step classes but toned down, and he puts them to I think he did one with 80s music, and to Whitney Houston songs, Ed Sheeran songs. So, and it's only 15 minutes. You could do that before you shower in the morning, before you go to work. That's my plan. Done it a few times. I need to do it a little bit more. But I thought some of you might be interested in that. It doesn't cost anything. You don't have to go to the gym. Don't even have to leave your living room. So I just thought I'd mention that one as well. Moving on to acquisitions. Now, the first one is kind of not my fault. So the first one, it's lovely, lovely gift. Now, Stokx Crafts do a subscription box, a quarterly subscription box, and you can have yarn. You can have one skein of yarn, two skeins of yarn, and two with treats. Now, I was feeling particularly low a little while ago, and I thought I'm going to treat myself to this. So I bought the big box, the two skeins and all the treats. And then a little bit later, I felt a bit guilty because it's quite expensive. Good value for money, but quite expensive. So I cancelled it, but it still came. I think I ordered it in January, and then they come quarterly, so it came in March, so it arrived. So I just thought, well, it's meant to be. So I'm going to keep it, but I have cancelled the subscription, so I think perhaps that's the bit that was cancelled. And I will show you what I got. So this is the Spring Pansy gift box by Stokx Crafts. So if you are expecting one and you haven't had it yet, don't look at mine, because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. When I opened the package, it smelt beautiful because of the gifts inside. But I'll show you the yarn first. So it's hand dyed in Aberdeenshire, and Stokx Crafts also have a podcast as well. She's recently started doing these. Now this is the fingering, the 4-ply weight yarn, and it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and it's the Spring Pansy colourway. And this is 100 grams. I don't know how well you can see. It doesn't look as bright on the screen as it is in real life, so obviously I have two of those. There we go. Just turn this off now. I've got a little security thing coming up. It's annoying me. So I have the two of those, and they smell lovely because in the box you had a mini shampoo bar, lavender and rosemary, and these are all local local makers to the lady at Cookstone Crafts. So there was that, and she tells you all about the different things. So these are from Lather and Smudge. Lather and Smudge is the company name, and that's a soap. It smells really, really nice with the lavender and smudge. They're a small business in Killiecrankie, and they make artisan soaps. And then also, I've done the shampoo bar. We've got seeds, Let Love Grow. Take some seeds and have some bees. And the seeds are from Mummy and Mr. Fox, and they contain 8 different types of flower seeds, so I'm going to give those to Martin and let him grow those. Also some shortbread, and I haven't eaten them yet because I wanted to show you. Don't know if you can see because it's shining. And the shortbread is from so it's handmade by a local duo, Sarah and Jessica at Aikens Hill Scullery. And then as well, also we have some hot chocolate, and the flavour is cinnamon rose drinking chocolate, and the drinking chocolate is from Copper House Chocolate. So a little treat to myself. Ooh, always get ooh, it's off this cardigan. A little treat to myself, so it's meant to be I don't mind, a treat to myself. And then we went away, as I said, we went away on the weekend to a cottage, and in Trefeglois, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. It was a Grade 2 listed 17th century timber and stone cottage. It was really, really pretty, up on the hillside, and all the fields surrounding it were full of sheep. So I'll put some photos in of that after this. But we went along to the local town, which was Llanidloes, and they had lots of little antiques type shops. They had a art centre, and in there they were hosting well, we used to call it bric-a-brac, and so people could rent a small space and bring their antique things and bric-a-brac and things like that. And one of the spaces had some vintage Laura Ashley fabric, vintage binding, patterns, but they'd also made a few things. So I picked up these lovely little red buttons for 50p, and also the lady there, well, I'm assuming it was a lady, this was labelled as vintage fabrics including Laura Ashley, quilt and matching pillow, £2.50. On the back, so pretty, and then it's a little pillow. So I think it's meant to be for a little doll, but I am going to put that under my sewing machine or overlocker that are on here. So I thought that would look quite nice, and that could even be a pin cushion, couldn't it? But I might give it to Arthur and Beatrice. Where are they? Oh, they're up there, you can't quite see them. But I might give it to them as a cushion. So £2.50, you couldn't make it for that, could you? And then in a little charity shop, it was the Severn Hospice. They had this Liberty Lawn cushion cover, and that was £2. I mean, it's got an invisible zip. You couldn't even buy the zip for £2. And you can see inside where all the patches have been sewn together. But I thought I'd use that as a project bag because it's so pretty, and I wouldn't do anything to it. I wouldn't box bottom it or anything. I just put, maybe I'll well, I can't put my cardigan in it because they're all the yarn is linked together. But I will put a project in that, so I was very pleased with that. It's £2 for that and £2.50 for the little quilt that I'm going to use under the sewing machine. So that's it for me this month. I will put some photos at the end of our little weekend away, and I suppose I better get on with some housework now because we've been away all weekend, and I'm off to get the grandsons from school this afternoon, so I thought I'd get this done today. It's Monday today rather than tomorrow, which is the very last Tuesday of the month, just because by the time I get home and things, got some time today, I'll do it today. It's not because I'm putting the housework off, promise. So you all take care. I know it's been a horrible month with one thing and another. I hope you're taking care of yourself and being kind to each other, and do some crafting, do something that makes you feel happy. Take care, and I shall see you all next month. Bye for now.